Good evening, everyone. Tonight on Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions, we're going to be talking about turtles. What are they? Where do they come from? And why do they like the ooze? They seem to like to drink it, and then become teenagers who have a knack for pizza and ninja equipment. It's almost like they're a teenage and a mutant of the ninja variety. And now you're looking at a door. And I have no idea how to finish this segment out. But that's the way it's going, and it's working.
I don't think you knew how to start it.
I don't think so either. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions for Saturday night, June 11th, 2016. I am, of course, your host, Adam Mickelson. I hope everybody has had a wonderful week. It has been busy here. I can guarantee you that because we have major things to prepare for, especially next week with the Electronic Entertainment Expo / E3 starting up and getting predictions and announcements out of the way. But I hope everybody else has had a good week. Aside from that, and of course I'm not being alone. I'm never being anything, but you know, I'm being joined by my fellow panel of YouTubers, critics, artists, and many other things aside from great guys. And first of all, let's go ahead and start off with live from the Technodrome, Shredder. Now, Shredder, you came a long way to give us some commentary on this movie tonight.
Indeed. It was not easy to escape the Technodrome. For once, I find myself indebted to these turtles.
Even though they've never given you any kind of soup.
No. The turtle soup still eludes me. One of the many charges leveled against me by the state of New York.
But again, you're living in New York, so you could technically just go to a restaurant and get turtle soup.
You'd think so. But since turtles are becoming increasingly endangered, at least the type that I like to use in my soup, it has actually become an international crime to make it.
I'll take your word for it. Stephen Romney of Romney's Reviews, of From the Shelf, of all of the various other things that you do. Romney, how are you this evening?
Pretty good. I was surprised I was even able to keep the voice consistent.
Actually, I was surprised that you got it. You pretty much nailed it, sir. That is the Shredder from Out of the Shadows. So very good, my friend. We are also being joined by the Shadow Blazer himself, literally live from the shadows. Alex, how are you doing this fine evening?
This time I am indeed back in the shadows. I'm okay. I mean, I went to work today, so I'm a little tired, but I'll manage through this tonight, I'm sure.
Which is good, because somebody actually made the comment, I think you were in a t-shirt last time, and they went, wait, where's the hipster on the podcast? I can't see the hipster on the podcast anymore. Where do you go? So at least now we can clarify that. So there you go, everybody. Then we are also being joined by Aldo Gomez of Board Offline, of Reviews versus the World, of all of the other various things that you do. Aldo, how are you doing this fine evening?
Good.
Good. Okay.
I don't have a clever response this week.
It's okay, because you know it's been busy for everybody for various reasons. And therefore, I can understand this. Now, we actually do have a special guest, but unfortunately, he is not at his chair right now, so we will give him a minute. Ah, there we go. There we go. So, okay, that works.
Hipster.
All right, so there's a resident hipster.
This is a fedora.
All right. We have a special guest tonight. We have, if people remember from the bonus review that was done for Ratchet and Clank, where I think it was Aldo, Romney, was Brinton with you guys?
Yeah, it was Brinton.
And then also this guy was part of that panel as well. We are welcoming to Geek News Matt Billingsley, a.k.a. Retneck. How are you doing this fine evening, sir?
Greasy. Just got back.
Did you say breezy?
Said greasy. Just got back from Barbados.
All right. Well, so we have our panel here. We have many things. Well, actually, we don't have that many things to discuss, at least as far as an agenda. Tonight is kind of a special event, people, because we don't necessarily have an agenda of stories. News has been kind of light this week, obviously, with tech stories being more based around E3 and all of the announcements coming there, and we have entertainment stories here and there, but nothing huge aside from the occasional casting rumors, and Gambit continuously landing itself in development hell. So with that, we actually do have a couple of specific topics we want to get into, which is tonight is going to be a live group review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. And people have already been asking me earlier in the week, we haven't seen the review yet. Have you guys done it? Have you guys gotten together? Because this would be the anniversary of our very first group review. Is Romney going to write a poem for us all to recite? No.
I tried, people. I tried. But let's just say life kind of kicked all of our asses.
Truth be told,
Very much.
schedules have been kind of crazy this month. We can't really give a whole lot of details as to what's been going on, but it's been really hella busy for all of us. And so at that point, we just decided it would probably be better to just do the review live for you guys and in this format. And in fact, we also included Matt along for the ride because he has also seen TMNT Out of the Shadows. And before we get started on this one, Matt, did you actually see the first one?
The first movie?
Yeah, the Michael Bay produced one?
I tried to. I mostly was getting tired with it.
So you didn't get to the part where it just so happened that conveniently, because the book was right there, Splinter learned ninjutsu?
Actually, I found that out from the reviews. Like, I fell asleep and just said... I
Yeah,
can't remember where I fell asleep.
Or conveniently that the only reason that Megan Fox is connected to the Turtles is because she fed them pizza when they were baby turtles.
What do I remember of that movie?
It's probably best that you don't remember much.
Want to see me do worse? Ask me what happens in Snow White and the Huntsman.
The problem is,
See, my first reaction is going to be, I am so very sorry you saw Snow White and the Huntsman. And we have officially sent Romney off to go get the pillow because we brought up Rupert Sanders.
No, that's not a pillow thing because, yeah, believe me, there have been a lot more pillow-worthy events. Just the mention of someone's name is not enough for me to get the pillow.
Okay, good, because I was afraid that the mere mention of him would already send the pillow out. And frankly, we have some other things to discuss on the matter. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's actually get into Out of the Shadows. And I just kind of want to open this up to the panel really quick on your overall thoughts of how that movie went as far as you were concerned. Like, did you have apprehensions walking into it? Did you already think it was going to be a train wreck? Did you think it was going to be good because of the recent announcements of Casey Jones, Bebop, and Rocksteady, things like that? And I'll go ahead and start things off. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect. The trailers were looking pretty awesome, especially with Bebop and Rocksteady now showing up in the movie trailers. I kind of walked in expecting a train wreck, and once I checked my brain at the door, and thankfully Romney reminded me to check my brain at the door, I actually enjoyed myself. I actually thought it was kind of a great nostalgia trip, and am not regretting it as much as I did the first movie. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised with how well Out of the Shadows did it, and I can't even believe I'm saying this to some extent. I kind of want a sequel. I want another movie, just to see if they can keep the pace going. I'm not saying it has to happen, but I kind of want it, just to see if they can continue this momentum. So let's go ahead and start up with Aldo. What were your thoughts on Out of the Shadows, both going in and after seeing it?
Same. I kind of just expected more turtle time, which was probably the best half hour of the first movie. And we got most of it, and I got pretty much what I expected, so it was good.
I'm confused on the more turtle time. So,
yeah,
like,
just
the amount that you got, you didn't want.
Just less focus on the people, like more focus on the actual titular teenage.
Oh, so you were happy with the amount of time that they got?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, yeah, I actually think the amount of character development that each one got was pretty interesting.
I wouldn't say character development.
Yeah.
Development for a kids' movie.
No,
even
don't insult
even.
kids' movies that way.
Yeah.
No, this was
Okay, then let me put it
time.
this way. I like the fact how all of the turtles learned eventually about friendship and the heart of the cards. Does
Oh,
that
you
work?
mean the exact same thing they learned in the first movie?
I don't think they
Pretty
learned.
much.
I think like the rest of the audience, they didn't learn anything
There
right
was
along
no,
with us.
there was no reason to relearn the same lesson they finished the first movie with. And I mean, by all means, movie Leonardo is a terrible, terrible leader, regardless of whatever movie in whatever era you're looking at, because every Leonardo in every movie has to learn how to be a good leader every single time.
Every single time.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I mean,
The character development they have in any movie, regardless of these of whatever era, is the same character arc. They never really have character development in the movies.
see, okay, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you on this one. But
Yeah.
I guess one of the reasons that I kind of liked it was that um, it felt a little bit like the 2007 movie, where we had kind of an emphasis on family and being able to come together as brothers. But I can kind of see where you're at, where that gets hammered a little bit.
Well, that's exactly what happened in the other. That's the same plot. I'm sorry, I'm just tired because every single first arc for every single incarnation of the Turtles is we have to learn to be brothers. At no incarnation have they ever been like we're bros from the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very most, you could actually have like an element try to rip them apart, and
At this
I'm
one,
not
we did
talking
somewhat.
them. I'm talking like Krang trying to rip them apart.
Well, in this part, we did have some sort of element that, while handled poorly, was at least somewhat of an idea of how to actually create strife between the brothers. It just was handled poorly.
Well, it
Also
also
in the way that it's not like it was just more of out of their. It's more okay, plot convenience and I guess just nature that the characters end up just fighting against each other. It's not. It's how do I describe it? It's almost cliche. Like it's forced into the story just to be there because it's turtles.
All right, so with that, let's go ahead and move on to you, Matt. So going into this movie, were you excited? Were you not? And I mean, did you walk away the opposite after seeing it, or did you walk away just saying, "Yeah, this is what I expected"?
Well, I didn't really. Apparently, as I was hearing some people's opinions after seeing this film, as they would describe it as saying very fan servicey, very much to the original '80s Turtles. I didn't grow up with the '80s Turtles. At the same time, I fell asleep during the first Ninja Turtle movie. I kind of more just came in here after hearing that Bay and the team said they were going to try to do a better job this time. And just like, I came in with just a open mind, just like, okay, do what you're going to impress me with. Honestly, I came, but
No, keep going. Yeah, I was agreeing
definitely
with you.
went in. I didn't expect a masterpiece. Granted, I don't think I walked out any smarter than most films, I guess. But I ended up just coming out saying, I could turn that on in the background when I do my artwork again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, compared to the first movie, I do think that a lot of lessons were learned. I think me and Romney were mentioning this when we walked out of the theater. It's kind of good that they went with a different director this time and actually started listening to some of the fan feedback, and that seemed to have helped them in the long run.
They were a lot more open to having humor played out in this movie a lot better, I've noticed.
Yeah, compared to the first movie, humor was not as good. I actually liked a lot of the jokes that were being made. I mean, for crying out loud,
There were memorable
we were laughing at Megan Fox the entire time, and I swear she's just let this be her character from here on in, and she doesn't care anymore. It's like, okay, sure, fine, I'll go ahead and grab a miniskirt right off the rack because that's what people expect me to do.
Take a shot.
I don't think that's her decision.
It's probably not, but I mean, it could be worse. She could be calling her director Satan.
Or trying to get a live-action Sailor Moon made.
Oh, jeez, she did do that, didn't she?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Romney.
Yeah, she wanted to make a live-action movie version of Sailor Moon with her as Sailor Moon. It went nowhere because, well, Toei tried making.
You know what? I want Matt's face. That's forever going to be the answer to Megan Fox's Sailor Moon. Because that is exactly how every fan feels about that.
I don't want to say it's a terrible idea. Hey, I actually like this Ninja Turtle movie a bit. I can say that I enjoyed it. Verdict's still out whether the Ghostbusters movie is going to be any good. But I can say you can only sort of see if it's going to be any good. It's just,
Yeah.
At this moment, Megan Fox walking in saying, I want to do a Sailor Moon movie. It's like, okay, what's the catch? I'm going to be Sailor Moon.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, I mean, how many times have people actually tried to do a U.S. Sailor Moon movie? I know that there's been a couple of attempts in the 90s where we tried to get the rights.
Sort of. They tried doing an American series based on it, but it didn't go very far because of how expensive it would have been. As for anything live action, the closest we got was the series that Toei made that was made by the same team behind Super Sentai that only lasted a season because it was so expensive to produce and actually didn't do that well in the ratings.
So she wanted to be I'm diverting and we'll get back on track in a second, but she wanted to do this movie. She wanted to star in it. Did she want to direct it?
I hope not. But she basically
I can just only imagine, like Sailor Moon by Megan Fox, directed by Megan Fox, produced by Megan Fox, written by Megan Fox, and starring Megan Fox.
Yeah, I don't think there would be much weight to it, so...
and already Matt is sending us links for Sailor Moon the movie 2011. Wow, okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the next panelist here. Alex, your thoughts going into Out of the Shadows, and how appropriate, the Shadow Blazer, we're asking him about Out of the Shadows. And also, like, did those opinions change, or did they stay the same when you walked out of the film? Because you actually didn't go with us today.
No, because I had to work today, so I had to go see this on my own. So, really, going into the movie, I guess I could say I was a little ambivalent. Frankly, I could have done without bothering to see the sequel. I wasn't all that pumped or hyped for it. The first movie, to me, was painfully average, okay. I wasn't particularly keen on seeing a sequel, but because we're doing the show tonight, I figured, why not? I'll go see it. Going out of it, though, I'm like, why did I waste $7 on this? That was just kind of a waste of time. I should have waited for this to come to the dollar theater, DVD. No, what? Not even DVD, cable. I should have just waited until this hit network television on FX. This movie
let's just be honest.
bad.
Just waiting for it to hit Netflix, so you're not paying for it at all.
Yeah.
I already saw it twice.
Wow. You know, this movie's pretty bad. That's all I can say. I mean, it was basically the first movie. It had the problem with the first movie where, yes, it's checklist. It's like Ninja Turtles, check. Pizza, check. April O'Neil, check. Casey Jones, check. Bebop Rocksteady, check. It's a checklist. It's a checklist movie, and it feels like it. It's a by-production committee movie. The first movie, I kind of gave a little more leeway because you could kind of feel how many last-minute rewrites and reshoots they probably had to do because of backlash with Alien Turtles proposal or White Shredder by Will Fichtner proposal, which I think Will Fichtner would have been a fine Shredder. I could care less, and this one was so pointless, and obviously spoilers are abound. Shredder and Crane both did. You could have picked one or the other. You didn't need both of them in this movie. Maybe you could have set up for Crane a little bit, but you just didn't need both of them in. They were so tacked on because Shredder pretty much did nothing through most of this movie, and Crane did nothing for most of this movie.
Well, let's just be perfectly honest. Shredder was there to just sit there and be Shredder. Like I'm pretty sure the director looked him in the eye and said, "I want you to look like Shredder," and that's all we need.
Except he didn't really do that. He popped out his claws twice and wore the mask once.
Yeah, exactly.
He wore the mask once!
For like 5 minutes before he got Sub-Zero'd.
For 3 minutes, and then he became a glorified action figure for Crane.
Was I the only one that, for the record, when he put on the mask and he actually looked like Shredder, was I the only one that was making like 10 different Mortal Kombat jokes in my head when he got frozen?
Yeah. At least this time he was more Shredder and less Megatron, so he's less Shreddertron this time.
Compared to the first movie? I would just say he was a walking can opener.
Yeah, the first movie is pretty much just a a glorified Transformer. This
Yeah,
one at
pretty
least
much.
is more like Shredder. You know, it's
'Cause-
like the director claims to be a fan of the Ninja Turtles. I don't think so. I'm not even that hardcore of a fan. Even I gotta call bullshit on a lot of this movie.
I think he's like a Zack Snyder fan. Like,
Yeah.
when Zack Snyder wrote Superman, he's like, I'm writing a Superman that I know, the comic book fans I know will like this Superman. This is the Superman I like. And let me tell you, if you don't get my Superman, that means you don't get Superman. This is the same deal as that
Right.
screenwriter for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But at least we
Yeah.
actually had the colored bandana so we could tell them apart. I mean, if it was
Yeah,
Zack
right.
Snyder, they would have all been gray or brown bandanas.
Amazing,
Right.
there's color in this movie. Shocking. But it's like, who's this movie made for? Is it made for kids? It feels like it, but then you have Megan Fox doing a striptease in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
It's like it is, but like it is. I think it's made for kids in the sense that this gives a chance for like 40-year-old fans who won't let go of the 80s have a reason to take their kids to this movie.
Something like that. I mean,
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a fair assessment.
Because this movie, because even the 2007 CGI one didn't pander to 80s nostalgia as much as, for cripe's sake, man, Donatello has a freaking Super Nintendo controller strapped to his wrist.
yeah.
For what purpose? For what
You know,
purpose?
in this movie,
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed that.
I got so wound up in the mishmash of tech on him that I couldn't tell what was what anymore.
It's on his it's on his wrist, like on the inside, and his right hand.
Jimmy Christmas, man.
You know, getting back on my point about, like, who's this movie made for, you know, the Transformers movies, for how good or bad they can be or whatever, they're all over the place, but at least they know their audience, they're set for that audience, and be that, so this movie's just audience confused, because you can tell they want to be a kids movie. They really, this should have been a PG movie. I really don't know why this is PG-13. But,
Also the language. Problem.
Yeah.
I guess so.
The violence. Violence is always like, got characters. Oh, character flipped off a trash can. PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's usually either violence or sexual content, so it's probably the existence of Megan Fox is probably what pushed it over to PG.
Yeah, pretty much. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, her reputation is set from the Transformers movies.
Like a
And I
rain
kind
cloud.
of wish, Alex, you hadn't brought those movies up, because now I've got like 7 new listener stories that are going to get brought to my attention aside from the 10 others I have. That we talk about that next abomination of a movie.
I tell you, I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to say it again. I tell you what, Adam, you go see Ghostbusters and do your review for that. I'll go see Transformers and I'll do a review for that.
I'm waiting for the because you're going into your inner Brad Jones for a second there. I was waiting for the laugh. All right, moving on. So Romney, going into this film, were you more cynical, less cynical, and then how did that change, if it did, when you walked out?
Yeah, I was kind of pretty cynical going in because I'm just thinking, oh, they're doing this again. This is going to be a thing now, isn't it? But
Yeah.
coming out of it, I acknowledge that at least they were trying to win over the fans somewhat. It shows like, okay, maybe we shouldn't piss off the fan base because that didn't work for us last time. But at the same time, I felt the fan service was a little bit desperate. I mean, the comparison I gave in my initial review, keep in mind, people, I saw this film twice. The initial review I gave was, the comparison I gave is that it's kind of like the bad parts of Turtles Forever, where the people making the film only have a passing knowledge of the 80s series, and thus more or less tried to throw in iconic stuff from the 80s series without actually really caring and actually having a genuine love or a passion. Because in Turtles Forever, which was the big crossover between the 2003 series and the 80s series, in that they made the 80s Turtles act like a bunch of idiots. And to add on to Aldo's point about the characterization, I feel that some of the moments in this film felt almost a little out of character for some of the Turtles. I mean, yeah, you've got the same thing of, oh, Leo and Raph are disagreeing on something that's in every single Turtles movie. But for Mikey, I felt Mikey, they kind of dumbed down his character needlessly. I mean, yeah, he's a goofball, but he's not an idiot.
Also, Raphael, who's pretty notorious for like really sticking to his guns and everything, and not really changing his mind until somebody punches his mind into a different opinion, really did a 180 on his thoughts in this one, really fast.
Matt,
Yeah,
you looked like you had a thought in the middle there.
I had several thoughts, but they're all gone now.
Yeah.
All right.
But kind of to add on that, and that's why I mentioned since Alex kind of put the spoiler warning up, but the whole idea with the ooze or mutagen, I don't know what they called it either way in this particular film, but though
It's just there.
Yeah, it's there, and although you do have a point, the
I
fact that
swear at one point that ooze was called Purple Drink by Mike. I'm thoroughly convinced, and I want to actually see the script to see if he actually said they've got the purple drink or something like that. Because for crying out loud, that was Grape Crush.
yeah,
That's what that was.
yeah. But point being, the whole decision of we can go out looking as humans, and the whole Raph is suddenly in favor of throwing it against the wall after he went out of it on his own after feeling betrayed to retrieve it, and the characters didn't even really explore the possibilities. I mean, you would think that Donnie might have even figured, okay, well, maybe we can make a temporary disguise using it, or doing something like that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't go that direction.
Also, what a dick. He could have just gone no thanks, here, put this away. But instead he's like, I'm going to chalk it up against the wall because I'm a badass turtle with attitude. Bam. No, what a dick.
Yeah. Old enough to drink.
See, and here's the thing that actually came to my mind when that happened. I really thought we were going to get this Easter egg at the end where a fly came up and sucked some of that off the wall and then went to Baxter Stockman. But then I thought better of myself because they wouldn't do something as cool as that in this movie.
Yeah, or alternately, you have it land on a bunny rabbit who ends up going into a time portal.
No, don't even start there. Don't even start. Just make that guy come out of the prison that Krang had. So at this point, let's actually kind of get into the details here. We've talked about some of the things that we liked and that we didn't like. I actually, in particular, was surprised. I don't know if people noticed, a lot of the chest stuff that was on them in the previous movie, that was removed. Because, Dawn was decked out in tech in the first movie, and now he had, an open chest. He actually looked thinner than he did in the movie.
Raphael was Raphael was super armored up. I think he even had
dude, he had World of Warcraft pauldrons. I'm not kidding. They looked like World of Warcraft pauldrons.
It does look like they buried up the designs a little bit.
But the one that actually caught my eye was the biggest problem I had with Leo, the bamboo armor, that was removed. I actually thought that was a good step.
Got an echo.
Do I have an echo?
Better find it.
Somebody's got an echo.
Okay. Anyways,
me. Microphone.
Okay. Take a quick moment. I'll be back.
So, I mean, that was actually kind of surprising to me. Again, the appearances of the turtles, where they were kind of generic in the first movie. We had Dawn, who was a little bit thinner. We had Mike, who was kind of an average build. Because even Leo looked kind of butch compared to Mike. And then, we had the roided out Hulk Hogan Raph. So
Raphael being played by Hulk Hogan, that I would pay to see.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you what. The only question I have for you is, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, Shredder, when these 26-inch pythons run wild on you?
They ain't no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Did anybody have a Secret of the Ooze on VHS tape, which had the trailer for Suburban Commando?
Not anymore.
Not really. I never had owned any of the Turtle movies back then because I wasn't.
Sorry, you mentioned Hulk Hogan.
I was had those Turtles ones in a while, but nothing really stuck with me as a kid, unfortunately.
Yeah, honestly, the only Turtles thing I remember as a kid was just how baffled I was at the crossover with Power Rangers in space, where I'm just like, why are the Ninja Turtles fighting the Power Rangers?
Why is this so bad?
Saban Turtles.
I grew up with Power Rangers, and I barely remember that episode. My jaw dropped when I was watching Linkara's Power Ranger, the history of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
That episode happening. I'm sitting there like, when did that happen?
No, I was actually irritated with him. He left in the worst line in the entire episode, which was Decca saying, "I'm certified, turtified." That's just, no, I never want to hear your AI say something as dumb as that.
Well, just hope Lionsgate never decides to team up with Paramount for a future crossover, because I don't think anybody can handle that.
You brought this up when we walked out of the theater. I really wish you'd stop bringing it up, because then it'll happen, and then we're all going to be regretting it.
Wait, is Power Rangers going to be under Lionsgate?
No.
Yeah, the new movie is going to be made.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I
Yeah.
did not know. I don't know where the fuck that production's going.
Yeah, the
What?
one of the writers for not Hunger Games, but was it Divergent?
Yeah,
is like
Divergent.
overseeing the budget for that. But thankfully, like they got the writers or two of the writers from X-Men First Class writing most of it. I can't tell you anymore. The thing has like 8 writers now.
It's kind of odd because it was actually during one of my art streams. Somebody desperately asked, not desperately, but they asked me my opinion of the Power Rangers movie coming out. I did not know who the production is, but I do know it's being shown like set photos and the costumes and stuff. It's funny because while looking at the new costumes, like I know people are like, oh, like the people are like it's going to be updated. This is the modern look for the superheroes nowadays. But to me, on that one, I'm just thinking, are those supposed to be the Power Rangers? Because there's one thing I can definitely say about Power Rangers is you'd see a Power Ranger and you would know it's a Power Ranger. I'm looking at those like, oh, he's got the little helmet.
Yeah,
It's more from Power Rangers. I see it now.
Mm-hmm. Compared to
Oh,
Rita, who we couldn't figure out who she was supposed to be.
Oh, geez, I don't remember what I thought she was originally. It's like I thought it was like that part of the World of Warcraft movie. So I thought when I saw that.
You wouldn't be far off.
So
back on topic.
I mean, I'm not gonna mock the costume design and the person who designed it, but again, when Power Rangers is very iconic, it has a very recognizable design, recognizable look. I kind of would expect to see what I would recognize from the Power Rangers, or at least something that would say Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't look like it's a Power Rangers movie. That's the part that's getting me.
So one thing I actually want to get into is so we've hashed the Turtles back and forth in this podcast and in our previous review, and also the major plot convenience that happens in that first movie. But I do remember a lot of listeners wanted to know our opinions on the performances of, I don't know the actor who played Bebop, but him and Seamus as Bebop and Rocksteady, especially since a lot of that was voiceover work. Specifically, Stephen Amell. Did he pull off Casey Jones?
Oh, too bad there wasn't actually Casey Jones in this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now you know Aldo's opinion. And then also the performance of Krang. And so I kind of want to get into like the newer elements, whether or not they were utilized properly here, or whether or not they just fell flat. And I guess starting off, I'll just go into Stephen Amell. I actually think he was underutilized here, especially with that. Was I the only one that was like face palming when they made the whole joke that nobody could hear him from inside the mask?
I actually thought that was funny because it's a very obvious. It's low hanging fruit, but I liked it.
I was fine with the first one, but when it went off for like 5 of them, I was like, no, I'm done.
Well, I mean, they only did the joke once.
They did the joke once, and then the Turtles had to do the joke too.
Can you really be muffling so bad through a grate in your
I
mask?
know, right?
I was sitting there like that's not how the sound works.
No.
God, like you can't be upside down. The audio will be upside down with it too. I was like, okay, that's just the logic. I mean, holes, air doesn't travel through.
But it wasn't even that either. I mean, like nothing against Stephen Amell. I think Stephen Amell's a good actor.
No, that isn't against him. It's just he's a sound designer, and I try to get that joke. I don't think there'd be too much.
Well,
and
not
not
only
a hockey mask, but still, like.
Not only that, but if
Mick of Slipknot can talk through his mask, I think Casey Jones can talk through that.
Well, but the other problem that I also had was like, did the writers actually know that he could do something outside of Arrow? Because like all the times that they tried to step him outside of being that dark and brooding character,
at least they don't show his ass.
they fell really short. They were kind of dumb. And then at that point, when he had like all the stunts going on, I'm like, well, this would have happened in Arrow anyway. So,
and that's my problem with. I mean, again, Stephen Amell, good actor, but out of all of the elements they added, I'd say Casey Jones was very much the weak link here.
Well, underutilized link is more what I would say. Like, especially when we had the whole, do you have an eyewitness? And they had the whole moment where Casey is sounding crazy when he's trying to explain everything that happened that night. I'm just like, yeah, I knew right then and there they weren't going to take this character seriously.
Yeah, and just the reason why I didn't like this particular take on Casey Jones, though, I mean, I understand the idea that, we got to have him involved somehow, but not be a vigilante, so we'll have him be a cop, and I'm just thinking, oh, boy.
Not even a cop, a prison guard.
Yeah, and And so the best way to describe it, I did not really see Casey Jones. I just saw Arrow, and I don't mean that as a knock against Stephen Amell, but it's just a case of we'll just write Arrow and call him Casey Jones.
Matt, you were sharing some thoughts on that?
Me?
Yeah.
I was just trying to think. It's like now that I'm trying, like I've seen the movie twice. I'm sitting here trying to remember. Like you guys started talking about the Casey Jones. I remember the mask, but then I realized that as soon as they stopped doing the mask, I actually genuinely forgot Casey Jones was in that movie.
Yeah,
I forgot that was Casey Jones. In fact, I don't even think I remember anybody's. Like I don't remember any of the. I do not remember Jones. I don't remember April. I don't remember BoJack Horseman's character that well in that movie.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Is like
There was
Stephen
more
Amell's a good actor
on the villains than those characters, and
Well,
then there was more emphasis on the turtles.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was perfectly.
Villains were like the focus of the movie. In a way, I kind of was rooting for the villains.
I was pretty pleased with the fact that there was actually very minimal, almost to the point where they were ignoring the human characters. Because my opinion is, screw those people. I'm not paying to go see a movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to see middle-aged actors acting alongside Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm paying to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as much as I love Stephen Amell, I didn't want to see him chew scenery, but that's kind of what he was doing. I mean, if he was a more legitimate character, I wouldn't have had such an issue, but he isn't Casey Jones as far as I'm concerned. At least not the one that I'm used to. Alex, any thoughts on not just Casey Jones, but like Bebop, Rocksteady, how they tried to utilize them? Were they underutilized? Do you think they could have been done better or worse?
Well, I mean, this whole movie was Bebop and Rocksteady. That's what I get
really
at when
Yeah.
when I say there was no point for Shredder or Crane here. This was the Bebop and Rocksteady show, featuring the Ninja Turtles. And
Like,
compared to the first one, which was April O'Neil featuring the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Sorry. Megan Fox, I mean, she's Megan Fox. She's going to do the same thing in every movie. She's the eye candy. She's the sex appeal. Who really cares? Tyler Perry is Baxter Stockman. What the hell was that casting agency thinking? I don't know.
No, dude, you know what came to my mind when I saw Tyler Perry as Baxter Stockman?
What?
It was crap. I can't remember his name now. Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
J.V. Fox.
Jamie Foxx. How underutilized he was.
It's not just.
Am I the only one that?
It's not the problem of necessarily underutilization. It's just poor casting and poor acting. I mean, Baxter Stockman's just this crazy, weird scientist for no reason. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's like that in the cartoons. I guess you guys can always correct me. I've never really watched any of the cartoons again. Most of my connection to the Turtles is the original live-action movies from the '90s. Third one notwithstanding, I never liked that one. But. And I just didn't see the point of him. He was overdoing it. I mean, Tyler Perry.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I think we lost him. We'll get to him in a second. I actually would dare say that I have some issues with Tyler Perry's performance, but a lot of the jokes that were being made. Oh, it looks like Alex is back. So, did you want to finish your thought, Alex?
Shit. Yeah, I did. I just noticed. I noticed it froze in the middle of my damn monologue here. So Tony Shalhoub was Splinter. Splinter was barely in this movie at all. He's just the usual. Yes, I must give some wise advice. It's God. This is like a bad. This is not a movie. This is a video game. That's what this is. It just without the interactivity.
I think that was one of the jokes I leaned over to Romney and said, I'm just like, and we've now been handed our quests.
Yeah, I was gonna say it did have a lot of like video gamey dialogue,
Honestly,
like you have to collect these 3 things and then bring them together.
Yeah, honestly though,
Honestly,
I don't remember Adam making that joke, but that's probably maybe he tried making it while I fell asleep, because during the second joke I fell asleep.
Right. You know,
I wish that would followed your line of approach there, because there were a couple of scenes that I could have actually slept through. But no, one of the things I was actually going to say is like some of the better humor, at least as far as I was concerned, was Bebop and Rocksteady, and it was just because they went for like this Wayne's World kind of way of telling jokes, where it's like, dude.
I mean, going back to like Alex's comment about who is this movie made for, there's a lot of moments where you're like, this is a movie for kids, and then there's a part where they both look into their pants and they're like, my man.
Yeah, like, exactly, dude.
You know,
for
kids.
Honestly, I feel like there were. I mean, this is politically correct. Actually, I think it's politically incorrect wording I'm about to use, but it really felt like they were trying to reach out to the urban demographic, but trying not to say my N-word, and instead we're just going with my man.
Hey,
Hashtag triggered.
just say the words of Louis C.K. Don't make it say it. Don't make us think it.
Yep.
That's put in our heads.
I will tell you right here now, one of the more awkward ones, and I'm glad you guys brought that up because this is their interaction, where Bebop is like looking over at Rocksteady and going, "Dude, do I really look fat?" And what's the first thing that he does? I swear this is a bromance. The first thing that he does is start jiggling the fat. He's like, "Dude, no,
You're really fat."
Yeah, exactly. You're totally fat. And
there's Bebop and Rocksteady porn of that already online. Let me just check.
Rule
Rule 34. We
okay,
discussed
I'm
this last
sorry.
week.
I need to
Nice.
here.
Oh,
Somebody actually just put a comment. Was CM Punk supposed to get the Casey Jones role?
Where's the
I don't
chat?
think so.
Why am I not saying that?
So we have a comment from TG5455 that would have been weird if CM Punk got the role as Casey Jones. Was he in line to get it?
I don't think so. I think it was pretty much Stephen Amell from the get-go because of how popular Arrow was, because, of course, Arrow.
I was just going to say, man, because, like, wow, that would have been double wrestlers at that point.
Yeah.
Nothing against CM Punk. I don't know enough about him.
Well,
but
he is kind of a wrestler, isn't he?
Wrestler / mixed martial artist. He keeps
Yeah.
weaving back and forth.
No, I
Slash-
mean Stephen Amell. He's a wrestler now, isn't
yeah,
he?
because he had a whole storyline with WWE at one point.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like officially part of the stable. That was just a case of, oh, okay, we'll just do this one shot, basically.
No, that blows, because we already had Sheamus who played Rocksteady, and I don't have any problems with the performance. It was fine. But yeah, if CM Punk was like in line to get Casey Jones, that would have been an interesting casting. But at the same time, it's like, given the writers, what would you do with it?
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about this movie just now.
Okay.
It's like, okay, given this, I think you probably have fun with some of the jokes and action scenes, but I kind of feel like I'm watching this movie how it's not incredibly smart. Yet, like, it doesn't even, like, it's not meant to be smart. But I feel like the movie is dumb, but it feels like that having the characters Bebop and Rocksteady be so dumb that they become the smartest thing in the movie. They were the smartest decision, the smartest
Kinda, yeah.
addition to these movies. Finally,
This is something I actually like because I like the fact that you mentioned that because everybody's so caught up on like being a ninja and fighting like ninjas. And in the meantime, you have these two idiots blowing up a part of plane by accident, and it works out in their favor.
That was actually a really good moment where Bebop just looks up and goes, "Dude, really? I know I went a little overboard. My bad."
now remembering those parts, I bet you Michael Bay made sure these guys got all that screen time and all those performances.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much involvement Bay actually has with the Ninja Turtles movies. I know he's just the executive producer.
I don't know how much he has. I kind of like to think if he had actually had more power with this, how much more crazier could it be? People think Michael Bay is the worst, but I am a Michael Bay apologist. As oftentimes, I think when he makes bad movies, it's always because it's a property he doesn't really want to handle, or it's because he's being stuck handling someone else's property. Give him his own little script or his own little project with somebody else, except Jerry Bruckheimer. You probably can get something fun out of it.
I disagree there, because I saw Pain and Gain, and that was not fun.
Well, but at the same time, like, so he was
I forgot that movie happened. I didn't see it.
He was the executive producer of this movie, and I actually tried to look up like his involvement. I do know that he was on set, and he did approve a lot of some of the gags that were done. I don't know which ones though.
He's
It
the
wouldn't
producer.
surprise me if a lot of the Bebop Rocksteady gags were approved by him.
To be more specific, he's the producer.
What was that, Alex?
To be more specific, he's actually the producer. He's not executive. So
Oh, okay.
to me that indicates he's a little more involved because executives tend to be a little more higher up on the food chain. Not necessarily figureheads, but it's just kind of a weird way the system works. Is producers are a little more hands-on, a little more intertwined with the production process. Executives are more just sort of the background marquee figures, I guess.
So then at that point, yeah, he had to have those gags in place.
I imagine his
Made it himself.
involvement was still probably fairly limited, but
I imagine
There are
that more than
elements of-
anything, Michael Bay was just like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a fight in a plane? That'd be cool. I got
Wouldn't
the
it be cool
budget
if
for
we
it.
had an entire 5-minute segment of Bebop slurping one spaghetti noodle into his mouth?
You think he's the one who decided, hey, let's give the pilots parachutes for no reason, and all the ninjas have parachutes. Anyone else think that was
the ninja,
weird?
or
Everybody had
I'm
parachutes.
sorry,
on the
for a
plane.
second there, I thought you were talking about the turtles, and I was like, that's not the gag. They came into the plane and like, oh good, you have parachutes. Bad news.
That was actually a pretty well executed joke. As
Yeah.
dumb
It works.
as it was, it was actually pretty well executed.
Yeah, except it's all kind of pointless, like Raph's hesitance to jump out the plane when they're like
You know
jumping
what?
off.
I actually like that one. I actually like that because of the whole "What would Vin Diesel do" line. Because
Oh my
considering
gosh.
how much of a steroid, like just how much of a machismo character that guy is, I would totally see him saying that.
Yeah, I just like the line where it's just like, okay, no regrets, no fear. I regret this. The fear is awful.
Yes, exactly. That actually was a good
It was
moment.
funny, but it made no sense.
Yeah. So we're actually kind of running out of time for this hour, and then the next hour we're going to go into E3 predictions. So, like we've obviously given kind of our opinions on it. A lot of us just didn't like Out of the Shadows. I'm kind of where you guys are. I thought it was entertaining if you checked your brain at the door, but at the same time, yeah, it had problems. So one thing I actually just want to ask the panel is, like, would you recommend this to anybody? Like, if you knew that your friend was a diehard Turtle fan, and you had seen the movie first, like, would you recommend this guy pay $7 or however much money to see this in the theaters?
Honestly, yes. I think this is the closest we've gotten to a cartoon to a live action cartoon episode.
In which case, it
Yeah,
runs
yeah,
like
I'd
a
actually agree with that.
cartoon.
Yeah, but at the
It's-
same time, I'd be the kind of person to say pay no more than $5 because that's the lowest
Yeah.
discount tickets tend to go. So I'd be like,
I'll give it a rental.
You give it a rent it?
I was trying to do the double toasted. I was trying to do Leon's voice. No, Leon, I forgot what he goes now. He's I remember it was Leon because of Spill.com. So I'm trying to do his voice, just doing the deeper. I'd give it a rental. You know.
I'd give it a rental. Yeah, and obviously, Alex, you would give it a nothing.
Martin was.
I would. If somebody's a diehard Turtle fan, I'm gonna
That's the
say
same
you're
guys.
probably gonna be insulted by this. So I'd say don't bother.
I don't know
Wait
if I'd
for it on
go that.
cable.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't think they'd be insulted, but maybe, like, I mean, the diehard Turtle fans are going to be the guys who are like, Michael Bay raped my childhood, and here's why. But then you're going to have some people who are like, no, this is interesting enough. This feels like, you know, the whole Dimension X arc in the 80s TV show, or was there a Dimension X arc in the Nickelodeon show? I can't remember.
There is a dimension. No, but not much. It is okay. Yeah, it'd be an arc. So that's why I was thinking season. Yeah, there
Yes.
was a Dimension X arc in there.
So
Yeah.
at that point, I mean, it'd
When
be
you mentioned
something
that,
like
that's,
that.
I never got to say my actual final thought as when seeing this movie. I'm a fan of the Nickelodeon series. Like as soon as I saw the voice casting, I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. Great character designs, great casting, great interpretations. Also, the first time I actually remember the Turtles actually being teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I gotta say, it's just I've seen so many renditions of the Turtles that seeing the first Michael Bay movie for what I could, I thought it was dumb. For me, I'm a heavy thinker when it comes to films and media. I think if it can make me think hard enough to it, I will definitely remember. And I don't have a real review for this movie because I'm sitting here like I didn't really think to this film.
This was a thing that happened.
It happened. I apparently was there.
That's why
This time
I told
probably.
that's why I told Romney honestly, like, I have to check my brain at the door in this. Like, as soon as Megan Fox was on the screen and we saw her, you know, rip the mini skirt off of the rack and start doing her whole thing, I was just like,
sitting there, like, my brain kind of went turtle. Okay, turtle back. Okay.
yeah. No, for me, I had to check my brain at the door because
You know
at
what?
that point, if I was actually going to analyze this thing, I have a feeling I would be just as pissed off as Romney was. I can't remember what it was that actually like set you off. It was early on in the movie, but like there was actually a point where Romney we're in these comfy seats and he's just like, "Drew!" And I never got like what it was that set him
pretty much-
off.
well, it's pretty much because there are two moments in this film where I'm just like, how do you know that? How the hell do you know that? Answer me,
Oh,
figure it
yeah.
out, face.
Why is that? Oh, what's that? Is you got the script? Are you at the script book? I'm a packet.
Yeah, and now the first time was with Factor Spot, and although I realize now, okay, maybe it makes sense where maybe the Foot Clan briefed him on who the turtles were, but I'm just looking at that and I'm just like, how do you know all this? And then
info every time they cut away from the screen.
Well, yeah, and then the one that really got me mad when I first saw it was the whole, oh, I'm gonna hack into this thing to figure out, oh, look, it's called the Technodrone, and the commander is Commander Krang, and I'm just like, that is lazy. That is just lazy.
Yes, that was so bad.
That was.
I can acknowledge that Donnie is like 90s hacker, whatever, but when he can actually look that stuff up from parts of the Technodrome, I'm like, no, I can't accept that.
Gosh,
that's really not.
I'm remembering now. I remember everything!
That's not any much dumber than like hacking into spaceships with a Mac in like the 80s and Independence Day.
Oh, this is true. Well,
yeah.
I mean, we got another movie coming out this week or this month, Aldo.
What?
Well, we got another movie coming out this month, Aldo.
Oh God, no! I'm not. You know what? With the Fresh Prince, that movie's already.
I'm not paying attention anymore. What movie are we talking about?
Independence Day.
What are we talking about?
Because the sequel is coming out in 2 weeks.
I don't know.
What's the sequel to? I just missed it.
The sequel to Independence Day.
Oh yeah, there is a sequel to that. Dumb.
Yep.
Here I was ready to arm myself with scissors. I don't.
Now with 100% more Jeff Goldblum. This might.
Ending credits.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty much. So yeah, I mean, everybody take our opinion for what it's worth. I mean, obviously, people are going to go see this movie just to see if it measures up. But to us, at the very least, maybe it was a little bit more entertaining than the first movie, but not by a whole heck of a lot. And it was mainly based on the humor kind of factor, instead of having to deal with all the plot convenience holes that the first movie created. But I'm trying to think. So, final thoughts on this one? Like best moment of the movie, like funniest moment that you had.
Best moment for me would be the movie ending, the ending credits. At least we got a decent cover of the old-timey song. I may not know a ton about the old Turtles, but I know that song. It's a great song. Or I guess I could say the bizarre Vanilla Ice Easter egg on the jukebox. Boy, that made no sense, but I loved it because I thought, that's Turtles 2, the good one. And so, you know what? I'm going to have to amend my initial saying. In fact, don't wait for this on cable. Just wait for CinemaSins to rip it because they'll probably save you a lot of time and trouble of watching this. Just, wait for CinemaSins.
All right, Matt, your funniest moment or the moment that you want to point out here for TMNT Out of the Shadows?
I'm trying to think. Can I pick a funny moment? Because every time I'm thinking about the movie now, my brain goes back to that moment where they're in the bar, and I keep remembering, I want to be in that bar.
Yeah.
I want to be there. I want to buy...
You want to be there with Seamus or Bebop and Rocksteady as they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I want to get drunk. I want to take the shots. That's like the best part of the movie for me. Honestly, I think my final. Are we on final verdicts yet?
Final verdict.
I can only tell you, I did have fun with the action and the comedy, but that's only what you're going to get out of it. I mean, it's a worth matinee if you want to go take a friend just so you can come back out, then go home, then get drunk and laugh about it. But honestly, it's just. I don't like movies that really turn my brain off. So unless I was say invited, like I have been for the last two scenes, I'm like, oh, I'll go see it with a friend. Am I gonna pay to go see it? No.
No, you make the friend pay for it. It's like, well, you're interested in this. Aldo, your final thoughts and funniest moment of TMNT Out of the Shadows.
I think that whatever your verdict was on the end of the last movie, it'll probably be equal to what you think now. So I mean, if you like the last half hour of the first movie, then I think you'll like it. If you thought no, then probably not. And honestly, my favorite moment, which is probably a joke that I think a lot of people forget about because it happens fairly early on, but it's when Michelangelo is introducing all the brothers. And
that was a good moment.
And they have the Meet the Bachelor music in the background and everything. And
I didn't notice that. Was that the Bachelor music?
I don't know. It's some sort of game show music. It was something
licensing now.
Yeah, insert generic game show music here. I couldn't tell what it was.
And pretty much any part where Bebop and Rocksteady were really kind of talking to each other by themselves, where they're like, "What's an intruder look like?" Well, it doesn't look like a giant rhino or a giant warthog. My man.
Yeah, there's something like that.
The highlight of the whole movie. Like, now thinking about it, I think my favorite part in the movie is the plane battle. There's all the stupid shit that goes on in that whole scene.
Pretty much, yeah.
Best.
Yeah, I would kind of have to agree, because that is like the moment I do kind of remember most fondly.
From the plane to even when they're fighting in the river, all that is actually the best part.
Yeah,
yeah, and I still stand on it. My favorite line is when Raph is just like, "Okay, what would Vin Diesel do? No regrets, no." And it's like, "No regrets, no fear. I regret this. The fear is awful."
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. I liked it.
Well, yeah, and I did notice it the first time while watching it, and to kind of give my verdict, my opinion hasn't. I mean, some of you may have seen my review of it, and I'm addressing this to the viewers, not necessarily the panel.
Yep.
But as for my review, has my opinion changed based on a second showing? Not really. It's very much just, it's okay. It's kind of like a episode of the series that you're watching out of sequence without having seen any of the previous episodes, and you're just trying to keep up.
Pretty much, yeah. I'd agree with that. So I think that pretty much sums up TMNT Out of the Shadows. Go see it. Don't go see it. Give us a comment. If you guys disagree with our opinion, you think it's the most awesome movie ever, feel free to leave a comment below on this thread, and we'll give you our best opinion, either defending or saying, great, good on you. You enjoyed it. You got your $7 worth. But let's go ahead and move on, because the last hour here is going to be, since literally tomorrow. The conferences are starting up tomorrow. The announcements have been going on since, I want to say, Tuesday or Wednesday, when we started getting some of the pre-flooded announcements. But the conferences start as of tomorrow. And so we're just going to go ahead and step into our E3 predictions of what we would like to see happen from these companies, what we wouldn't like to see, and what's probably going to happen, because, you know, we do that kind of thing. And also, the real question that people are legitimately concerned about is whether or not Aldo will have a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
confirmed. We've at least done more than Nintendo has in the last 2 months. We confirmed a spreadsheet. So, I've actually got the conferences lined up. I was debating whether or not to include all of the stuff that isn't even getting conferences, but I'm going to keep it just to the conferences, because that's what people are going to watch. And sure, we'll eventually get the show floor stuff kind of inked through via GameSpot or IGN or whomever. But the conferences are usually the ones that people want to know our viewpoints on. And of course, we're starting off in the worst possible way, because the first conference is the Empire themselves, Electronic Arts. They are literally starting up E3 tomorrow afternoon.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna get, I'm just gonna be that guy. Technically, Square Enix already went, like, on Wednesday.
Yes, they technically did go, because they announced Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age is happening.
So technically they've already gone.
Wow, I mentioned Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age, and Matt goes kind of crazy.
I just got this. I gotta say, if we're gonna talk about E3, I got this one confession I have to get off my shoulder, which probably will get me more crucified since the time I reviewed Frozen. I never care for E3. I never pay attention to anything that goes on there. Like, all the games I like nowadays are always like indie games or small little developing teams. So I never pay attention to E3 because I'm just gonna more or less see the same thing, or I'm probably gonna see a game that I thought was dead for years to see it rise from the grave, and I'm just gonna find a stake. I don't. Me right now. I'm vulnerable, folks. But I'm like, I can just say, I don't like. For me, my predictions for E3 right now is there are games like people are like, what are the things you're gonna want to see? But I want to see. There are some games I don't want to see, and that's all I can talk about. I don't have any ideas of what I want to see at E3.
That's why we keep this open. Is because it's not just stuff we would like to see. It's the stuff we don't want to see, like the stuff that we have nightmare scenarios about. But I mean, there's also plenty of other stuff that could possibly happen. And here's the thing, Matt. I actually think a lot more gamers are leaning towards your way of thinking this day and age right now, because when you have AAA developers that are like releasing broken games as far as anybody is concerned, like
Broken,
games that could have honestly had a solid year more of development. Yeah, when indie developers are releasing polished products and AAAs aren't, I actually think people are leaning towards this intently. I mean, I think that's why in some cases games like Shovel Knight and Shantae and a lot of those other titles, including
Shantae. Sorry, you just mentioned Shantae. I forgot that game is coming, isn't it? Because I remember I have to think about it because it was back when the Kickstarter happened. I actually paid $45 to see this game happen. Like, I love the art direction. I love the idea. I have a friend of mine who he's angry at me that I funded that game because of bitter experiences he had at that place. I don't mean to call him out, sorry. But it's just like, you're like prepared to be very disappointed, which is actually sad to say because the last time I funded a Kickstarter, it always led to disappointment where they're never delivering, the game's never getting finished, the product's not coming. There's even a time where I submitted enough to the Kickstarter, and then sure enough, I never got any of the rewards. Like,
well, I mean, you know, one of the things that people get to look forward to, at least in 2 weeks, is
I gave up
after 3 years of a Kickstarter being funded, whether or not Mighty Number 9 is going to be worth the wait. So
I'm more than an anime fan on prom night.
So at that point, so we already did have the Square Enix conference, which was, I believe, mostly we had Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age happen. We had Kingdom Hearts 2.8 get announced, which was basically the last handheld game that hadn't come out on consoles yet is now coming out on consoles.
Which it isn't even really a game. It's just a cutscene. That's all it is.
It's also more than that. It's
ready to
also
rip
like
my
another smaller
non-existent
game.
hair out. I thought you were going to be Kingdom Hearts 3 because I got to tell you this, I want Kingdom Hearts to die.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 3 is confirmed not at E3. And mainly because I have a feeling that since they had to gut the Kingdom Hearts 3 team and move them into the Final Fantasy VII Remaster, another game that's not going to make it, or I don't think made it to their...
They haven't done that.
No, they announced that. They took a couple of their developers from...
Sure? Because I have not heard about anything on that.
And
I think we actually reported on it.
I don't think
Kingdom Hearts 3 developers got moved to 7 Remastered.
Really angry. I would have been pillow angry.
No, because the closest thing we reported was how Nomura stepped away from Final Fantasy 15 because he felt that it was in a state that he could step away and went to Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah. But I don't think we reported about, like, people from
Oh, do you want to know why we did? Okay, so when the story broke, it was a holiday story. Because I remember talking about it with my family on Christmas Day, and that's why we didn't cover it, because we didn't do anything until, I think, New Year's. So at that point, that's when that happened. But yeah, they took a couple of developers from Kingdom Hearts 3 and moved them over to 7 Remastered to get that going.
I don't know, man. You know how I feel about your sources.
That you want to punch them?
All the time.
Okay, all right. All night long?
Before I share my thoughts, anybody here a Kingdom Hearts fan, so I don't make you angry, or at least know who I will make angry?
I mean, it's fine. I know you're wrong to begin with.
It's a fine fandom, because I play it with my wife, but frankly, I really do think that one side of that equation is always getting the shaft, and that is Final Fantasy, but that's my opinion.
I don't know what to think with Kingdom Hearts. I'm seriously, it's one of those franchises I cringe at when I hear its name. It and Naruto, it's like, don't talk about that around me, please. Kingdom Hearts ruined Disney for me for years. It ruined Final Fantasy. Like, it was actually like early in elementary. A friend's like, "Oh, check out these cool game series. Like, you see, they got like 10 games. They should play them right now." Okay, so I started playing them in order because that's what he recommended.
I don't think Kingdom Hearts deserves like half the acclaim it's gotten.
I don't want to say it's terrible, but it's like it's not the game I want when it comes to the idea of having like people were mostly excited for it because they're like, "Oh, game with all the Disney characters together. That sounds awesome."
That's exactly.
They more or less they're pushed to one side. They're underplayed. Then when Kingdom Hearts 2 drove me absolutely up the wall. The story, I was always screaming, "What? What?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got lost with, like, where's the story going? Who are these characters? And what happened to this character? Why, like, no offense to Auron, but it's like, why am I playing with Auron in a Hercules level? Come on, I have to do with Hercules. You kind of had a thing going, Kingdom Hearts.
He's in the underworld because he's dead.
Yeah,
so
everyone's dead.
I mean, I haven't even played that game in years, and I can tell you that.
It's kind of sad because, as a couple weeks back, as we mentioned this, the one thing that almost gave me hope to seeing the end of Kingdom Hearts was the Disney Infinity. I bought these thinking, I'm going to start playing Disney Infinity, and then I found out the game is not as all what it built up to. Too much DLC. You had to buy too much of the content via cards and, well, not too much complaining about the figures, but it's like in the end, it's like, oh, this will probably be the great replacement, and it's underwhelming sales, and it's gone. We're shutting down Avalanche Software. We're done with Disney Infinity. It's like, oh boy. I actually had predictions from this that Disney would say, you know what, Kingdom Hearts 3, make it happen.
You know what though? Your big reward for collecting all the Disney Infinity figures is the Keyblade.
Yay! I guess.
Where is this?
In Disney Infinity.
Yeah,
Your big reward for collecting all the Disney figures and putting them on your base and having them in your Hall of Heroes is a usable Keyblade in game.
God damn. James friggin' seriously. If they were going to have to end Disney Infinity, they could have at least fulfilled me and my friend's wish of having Darkwing Duck and Gaston.
Well, they do have a Darkwing Duck car.
They have
It's
a
not
Darkwing
the same.
Anyway, I'm gonna
closest
yank
it's
this
gonna
back
get.
into place because we had the Square Enix announcements come out. I think there was there even 7 remastered stuff? I didn't see any.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, it was mainly 15 got focus. We got Kingdom Hearts 2.8 got focus, and then we also got 12 Zodiac Age, which is my own level of personal pain and hell, because then I already know people are going to ask for a Let's Play of that game, and that's going to make me sad. But moving on to the Emperor themselves, I only make the joke because Alex will make it for me if I don't. So do we have any expectations for Electronic Arts this year? I'm going to be perfectly honest with everybody here. I actually think this is going to be a light E3. I don't think there's a whole lot to announce. I don't think there's going to be any groundbreaking things happening. If the NX were there, I think that would have been the groundbreaking announcement. But aside from that, I think this is actually going to be a fairly light year. I'm only looking forward to Electronic Arts for one simple thing, and that is more Mass Effect Andromeda news, and that's it. Like, I already know I'm going to get screwed by sports games. They're going to be all over the place for a good solid section. I'm probably going to get another Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. DICE is going to come out with Battlefield 1. So I'm not expecting the most out of Electronic Arts.
Yeah, just watch.
I think Battlefront 2 is going to happen as an announcement.
Yeah, just watch for their Battlefront 1 promotion. It's just a field trip to a military base.
Shadow Blazer, any comments?
I don't get the joke. I don't know what happens.
Comment. I still don't think it's going to be called Battlefront 2. They're going to subtitle it somehow, because they're just going to do that, because why would they just call it Battlefront 2? Nobody does that anymore. We've all seen James Ross chronologically confused. Nobody uses numbers anymore. That's just too hard. We got to subtitle it somehow, some weird fancy way.
Okay, fine. Star Wars Battlefront Revengeance.
Yeah.
Might as well be, frankly.
Yeah, to kind of explain the joke, since Matt's kind of confused, the joke is because when DICE was promoting their version of Star Wars Battlefront, their teaser trailer was just a video talking about how the people at DICE took a field trip to Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah.
And that's the joke. Is that all
their trailer, which they had built up for 6 months, was that they took a trip to Skywalker Ranch. They took a bunch of shots of all the props and things like that, and then we got 10 seconds of stuff that might have been an engine, but I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. I just don't think it was like actual gameplay and AI going on. There's probably an engine, but just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there ever a AAA game series or a AAA game that I genuinely love? Because again, I'm thinking really hard. All the games I love are like indie or self-published games. So I think the closest thing to a AAA game I even liked was Bloodborne. I got that, so I was like, I don't have no more expectations after that.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting part there, is that I really do think this is going to be kind of a light E3, especially since a lot of the bigger announcements are out by now. I mean, for Bloodborne fans, Dark Souls 3 came out, so there's not really a whole lot for you guys to look forward to. I have heard talk of a Bloodborne 2, but I don't think you're going to get a trailer this year.
Is there a Bloodborne 2 on the way?
Rumors of it. that From is working on it.
I have a friend of mine who played the Bloodborne game. I'm not gonna say he's not critical. I mean, he's not as critical as stuff as I am, but he definitely would argue with me that Bloodborne is a very complete story. They don't need to do anything more. Then I don't know.
And yet the demand for a sequel came out. I can actually personally.
In fact, I made this joke to my other.
I don't know honestly, but my little brother is like a big fan of Dark Souls, and he wants Bloodborne too. But then again, I don't think he cares about story. I think he just cares he wants it.
There's
I
no
haven't
story.
played Dark Souls 1 because I remember just getting that game when people told me it has an awesome combat system. So I was like, okay, I got the game and started playing it. I lost 500 hours to that game. I played it. I beat it like several times. I even went ahead and made new characters so I can role play through the game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Aldo, you had a thought in there?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it doesn't sound to me like we have really anything major to look forward to with Electronic Arts, so... Oh, go ahead.
I don't have any thoughts on EA.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just going to say honestly, the one thing I'm really excited for, apart from Mass Effect Andromeda, is Titanfall 2. I want to see if the team learned anything.
Oh, that's right. We're going to have that, too. I would be interested just to see if we get a little bit more of a campaign with that. I know that Titanfall is based mostly in a multiplayer kind of setting, but, well, I tend to compliment games that are shooters and have more than just multiplayer aspects to them. Hint, hint, Battleborn, hint, hint. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is the newcomers to the conferences, at least, the press conferences, Bethesda. I don't think they have anything to announce, in all honesty. I have heard talk about Skyrim remastered for PS4 and Xbox One, but
Remastered how?
I don't know.
There's like 5 less bugs.
Are they going to have believable and likable AI, a more focused story? I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I never played them. So here's the irony here is that like I'm currently reviewing a Bethesda game. It's the first ever that I've actually gone longer than an hour and been okay. And that's not even technically a Bethesda game. It's a published game because it's software. So at that point, it's like, well, I don't play Elder Scrolls, and I don't play Fallout, and I don't play that many id games. So at that point, do I have anything to be excited for? The answer is no, not really. I don't know anything that they could have right now that I would be excited for.
I still need to play Fallout 4. Don't have a GPU for it yet.
Wait another 6 months. They'll finally fix the bugs.
Yeah.
There's
And
bugs
even,
already.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For years, I've had friends try to get me to play the Elder Scrolls series, and there's people showing me the whole Skyrim game. People really hyped me up to play Skyrim. I think what got me to play Skyrim was the loading bars Let's Play, where they made this whole joke about they're playing the fugitive in Skyrim. Like you have one NPC hunting you all over the big giant map trying to kill you. I thought that would be a great aspect. Well, playing the game, I kind of realized it's so much superficial stuff going on. Like the NPCs don't really care. You're not really interacting. There's like 300 Jim Cummings running around the place. And in the end, I'm just sitting here trying to download what mod I can do that makes everything more messed up.
Although I actually know you intentionally waited on Fallout 4 because of the bugs, right?
That and I don't like Fallout.
That too. Romney, Alex, do you guys have anything that you're at least somewhat excited for from Bethesda?
Honestly, even speaking as a fan of the Elder Scrolls games, like keep in mind, I'm not a diehard fan. I mean, my first game was Oblivion. I played Skyrim, but I'm not a power leveler. I didn't beat the stories on either ones, but it was very much a case of, as someone who is a casual fan of the Elder Scrolls, honestly, I don't think Bethesda's gonna have that much to bring to the table. I mean, it'll be surprising if they announce something big, but to be honest,
I forgot that exists.
Yeah, most that we're probably gonna see is just maybe something about ESO, and that's about it.
I think the very most that we're going to see, because there's one game that hasn't released, or actually no, two, because Dishonored 2 I don't think has come out yet. But the other one that I think is going to come up is the Elder Scrolls Hearthstone ripoff. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's Hearthstone with Elder Scrolls.
Of course.
So at that point we'll see that come back, or it's officially canceled. Yes, I know that you're facepalming, Matt. That happened. And I laughed my ass off.
That, but my mind just had to sit here and think, like, all the stuff we're mentioning, like, these theories are going on with E3. I'm hating every single one of these ideas. I don't mean to be that jerk, but it's like I really cannot care about AAA games anymore.
Sure. No,
I need
and you know
games
what?
that
I can understand
I need
that too.
games that make me see something. Like
Hmm?
too few of games are ever giving me an experience. Like we were mentioning, how we don't like some people probably don't play Fallout 4 or Fallout series. Like the Fallout series, I liked it made me think because I do love studying history and looking into some stuff. So somewhere in the way when I play the Fallout series, I end up learning something new a bit from history every time. Like I'm actually like I was playing Fallout 3 and I'm learning so much about the Washington D.C. area. Like I did not know like half of the stuff that's going on. Like I was like, okay, I ran around the map. I saw like all these different locations. Like, oh, these are here at the Washington D.C. I'm googling. Like, well, you know.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like a what is it? It's like a bit of fan service for like a history buff. It's not always 100% accurate, but it's like it's fun to see this kind of acknowledgement to these little aspects. I even enjoyed Fallout New Vegas for stuff like that. My friend got back from his mission. He loves New Vegas because of the introduction of Mormons in there.
I forgot about that they actually did that reference. Yeah, they did.
And they also had the most badass Mormon with one of the coolest voices. I can't remember his name. He's all covered in bandages. We're only fighting against these bad guys. Da 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 da. I am so cool. Jim, forgot his name just now. Steve Blum wishes he was me.
All right. Well, then in that case, let's move on to the next conference because it doesn't really sound like we have too much there. And this is one of the first console ones. And it's going to be Monday morning, and that is with Microsoft.
So, quick,
it's Microsoft.
There's actually supposed to be a Kadokawa press conference at 10:30 the night before.
I could not confirm that, but I would not be surprised.
I've seen it pop up on a couple schedules, but none of the official ones, which is kind of weird. I just wanted to point that out since we're going in chronological order.
Yeah. Honestly, though, is there really anything from Kadokawa that any of us actually care about that would be a game?
I
didn't even know Kadokawa produced games.
What is Kadokawa?
They're a Japanese publisher / anime studio. They're kind of one of those multimedia companies that they got their start publishing books and then they just expanded outward.
Doesn't ring no. I mean, I hear it, but it's like I don't think I've ever heard of them. It's like
it's just a big media conglomerate in Japan. That's Romney put it.
I remember with Microsoft.
But you've probably, if you're into anime, you've probably seen at least one thing they've done. They're also very notorious for copyright striking everything and anything.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think I've gotten one or two from them before.
Yep. Anyways, Microsoft.
Microsoft, I can already tell you, if I do not see Scalebound on their conference, I'm going to scream because I want this game. I'm any game that lets me ride a dragon, Elder Scrolls not included.
Oh, did you play Drakenrider?
I think I
then
did.
You can't say that.
Oh.
Panzer Dragoon.
Panzer Dragoon, I actually came late to that series, so I didn't have as much love for it. But like, I want to see Scalebound. I'm really worried we're going to see, because I've already heard rumors that Inafune-san is going to be part of their presentation for ReCore, and I don't think that's a good idea because of the backlash from Mighty No. 9 right now. We don't need to hear about ReCore. We really don't. We need to get that game out and actually have it reviewed, jaded or not. But aside from that, I can't really, because they have Gears, but they don't have a Halo one coming out this time around. Quantum Break is already out, so I can't really think of anything that Microsoft can add aside from, what is it? Are they the ones that have like 3 different variations of the one that are coming out? One is with Cortana functionality. And,
oh yeah, they might be releasing some alternate models of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I couldn't really find much that I was legitimately interested in for Microsoft aside from Scalebound, but people, or actually one of the ones that might be there is Volition just announced Agents of Mayhem, so they'll probably get that one. And Crackdown 2 might be there too, but. Actually, you know what? Titanfall 2 is going to be on their conference, I think.
I don't know. I think that'll be in the EA conference.
It might be both. Like maybe you'll see some some
Probably.
presentation stuff at one and some presentation stuff at another? Because I know Titanfall's Microsoft exclusive, I think.
It
It
is.
was last
PC
gen,
and PC and Xbox exclusive.
Well, that is
Yeah.
Speaking
Microsoft
of
exclusive.
which, I just remember this one game this game I've seen the Kickstarter for. I saw it at the E3 trailers at one point. It's the game Cuphead. I'm still waiting for that one to come. It's funny that I decided to Google when that is. I just found out it's under Microsoft apparently.
Yeah, it's under Microsoft. It's been announced for like the last 2 E3s, and still I don't even think has a release date yet.
No,
No, they
it's
released
somewhere
something
in 2016. It's actually that's another debate I have with E3. Is some of these games have been shown and talked about, but they've never been friggin' released yet.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because I know that's a problem with.
I thought me having a queue was because I pronounce Q. I have a queue that's bad. I see these people at E3 who are coming up with so many promises and not coming out with them. I don't feel so bad about my work anymore.
Well, especially since Microsoft tries last generation they were the ones that had the indie developers, and now this generation they're behind the curve because Sony has a lot of those same developers now.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I've noticed the last couple of years, ever since the Xbox One, is them pandering to try and get some of those developers to come back. I know specifically Microsoft has reached out to the guy who makes No Man's Sky to try and get that on their console, and I think it's exclusive, so it's not going to matter. So yeah, there's a ton of that stuff happening, but I don't really think Microsoft is going to have anything major to announce, at least from their first party or their second party studios. I think most of their stuff is going to be third party. Aside from Gears will be there. I can guarantee that.
I'm thinking I better start paying attention to the E3 just so I can stay in these conversations.
We're bringing you in as best as we can.
Give me as much liquor as you can, and I'll do my best. I have a Cthulhu flask. I just love it. I wish I could take it to me in theaters, but apparently it's illegal to be publicly intoxicated.
Apparently so. So yeah, unless we have anything else to add, then I'll go into the next conference, which is Ubisoft is going to be in between the consoles this time around, and
Are you not doing the PC gaming show?
Is the PC gaming show actually getting time? Because again, I could not
1
confirm that it's getting time.
You know what?
1
We're gonna
p.m. our
talk
time.
about Ubisoft. I'm just gonna walk out of the room. I don't have anything to add to this.
Poor Matt.
I might have to join you, Matt.
What?
I might have to join you. I have seriously nothing to add to this either.
Ubisoft I don't care about Ubisoft. Like, I think the only time I've ever really cared about Ubisoft is probably the time my friends loved Rayman, and the few times I was playing the Prince of Persia games. But
Matt, there's not an Assassin's Creed this year.
I can celebrate with that, actually. That's another thing. I was gonna say they announced another Assassin's Creed.
Nope.
They
announced early this year that there was not going to be an Assassin's Creed this year. So.
Dun dun dun.
No offense to those who like Assassin's Creed. It's just like, again, there's a list of games that people just like to hype me over. You need to play these games. They start playing the game. I'm like, this game.
Yeah, no, this happens to me too, and it's always zombie games. And then at that point, I have to say, well, I'm done with zombies. I'm zombied out.
I'm trying to see if I can find my disc copies of Assassin's Creed just so I can take this very moment and just break them on camera.
So Aldo, you mentioned the PC gaming show. I mean, I'm interested in what they have to bring because I know a lot of indie developers get a spotlight on that one. And in fact, I think the guy who did No Man's Sky was featured on it, wasn't he?
No,
it's a PC PS4 release, isn't it?
No, he was featured in PS4's Indie Hour.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I called it, anyways. But
so,
yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anything like major. I know Blizzard isn't going to have a presence there this year.
Ukulele and Double Fine, I believe, have a new game coming out.
Is that where they're getting featured? That actually is going to be one that I'll
I was wondering what happened to that game.
They just released the sandbox for the people who donated.
Yeah, it got delayed to 2017, but we have a full-on trailer now, and it looks very inspired.
I think they also released a sandbox to the people who were in the correct
tiers. To the Kickstarter contributors, and I think it was of a certain threshold that they got access to it.
Right.
Oh crap! Oh, wait.
But I think that's about all we'll be seeing there. Maybe Cuphead there if it's not at the Microsoft show.
Yeah. And then I'll be excited for those. But as far as Ubisoft is concerned, I mean, congratulations, you don't have an Assassin's Creed. coming out, and I actually don't subscribe to a lot of the people's beliefs that, oh my gosh, no Assassin's Creed, that means Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia is coming back. Prince of Persia, Persia. No, that's not what's going to happen.
We tried that
It's just
once.
that they're done. They're not. Assassin's Creed is not coming. That does not mean Prince of Persia is coming.
I know they've announced Watch Dogs 2, but that's about it.
Yes, and I'm already kind of wondering about that one because I'd heard financially it was kind of meh.
Yeah.
So the stuff they have, at least like the 4 things I have on my spreadsheet are Watch Dogs 2, South Park, The Fractured Butthole,
Fractured Butthole,
Ghost Recon Wildlands, and For Honor.
For Honor, I want to see more on that because I don't think that's come out yet, has it?
No, it hasn't.
No.
Have you ever played Chivalry?
I love Chivalry actually.
So
My friends played, so I only got
it's their take on like Chivalry meets Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, and it looked really, really good last
It looks pretty
last
fantastic.
E3.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited to see what that one, if they show anything on that one.
So, not really a whole lot to talk about aside from, I mean, you mentioned some good ones there, Aldo. I'm definitely interested in For Honor. I want to see that come back. I want to get more details on it. There really isn't a whole lot to discuss, at least until Ubisoft announces. I have a feeling Watch Dogs 2 will be a big part of their deal, but again, I'm wondering how that got approved because I didn't hear it did very well. But so the next one on the list is usually the one, at least the last couple of years, that has done fairly well, has been considered the winner of E3, and that is Sony. I will say this right here now. I think Last Guardian will probably be there.
I don't. I think you're expecting too much.
I'm being optimistic because I already know of at least one of our listeners that the Shadow Blazer is very acquainted with. If I say it isn't going to show up, she will probably punch me.
She'll take it on you just because it won't be there.
I will pray for
but I was the one that was arguing I didn't think it was going to be there last year, and it showed up. So
I don't have a PlayStation 4.
So at that point,
4 or the 3. I need to get a 3.
So at that point, I think maybe Last Guardian will show up. Maybe Shenmue 3 will show up.
I don't think Shenmue will show up.
Okay,
Shenmue?
I want to hope, Aldo.
I'm here to
I'm
kill
gonna get
that.
updates on that thing.
Nope.
So
They're gonna announce that they
you want to
took
punch
your
my
money
sources,
and
and now you want to punch Shenmue for me, huh?
They're just gonna announce that they took your money and run.
Oh, yeah, I could see them doing that. But aside from that, yeah, there really isn't a whole lot I think Sony can bring to the table aside from their PlayStation 4 Neo and going into more details about that. In fact, I actually think this is going to be another boring Sony conference.
Pretty sure they said the Neo's not going to be at E3.
Did they confirm it? Okay.
I think you're wrong in that because I think they have a really strong lineup of not necessarily exclusives, but they do have their indie spotlight. They also have a lot of import exclusive games that they're also going to be bringing out.
I do know that they have Songs of the Deep set up for that.
Yeah, so
I'm interested in that.
Just some of the stuff that's coming out. I mean, I think they said God of War 4 is going to get announced. Injustice 2 had its trailer released, and it's probably going to get some time on the floor with them. Neo, which is the Japanese version.
Yeah.
NIOH. It's from, I think it's from the people that make Ninja Gaiden, but it's their take on Dark Souls.
I remember I was getting chewed out during somebody's live stream when they were playing the beta.
Yeah. Persona 5, Star Ocean 5, Yakuza 0.
Actually, did we get anything on Star Ocean 5?
It's gonna come out next year in English.
Okay. All right. But did we get a trailer?
I mean, there's all the Japanese trailers that are out there because it's already out in Japan.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I mean, there's all that stuff. Grasshopper Manufacture has a new game coming out. It's PS4 exclusive called Let It Die.
But again, the focus here is like the indie developers are probably going to sell
the indie and the import. Because unlike Microsoft, they actually have a really big, because it's a Japanese company, they have a really good hold on Japanese import relationships.
Somebody actually just barely asked me, will Ready at Dawn have their piece of crap game that they just barely announced at E3. They probably will. Have you guys seen this?
I have not.
So, Ready at Dawn, the people who made the Order 1886, they actually have a new game coming out, and it is way different than the Order 1886. All I can tell you is I've seen images of a green blob, and that's about it.
What's it
I've
called?
not seen anything.
I have.
Let me see if I can actually find it.
Sorry, I have to Google all this stuff just so I can either A, find something to talk about, or 2, see what you're talking about. Like, seriously, like, I didn't even know what Star Ocean is. I never heard of it, so I'm...
It's a long-running JRPG series that's Square put out. Basically, it's a lot like the Tales series, if you're familiar with stuff like Tales of Symphonia.
Here it is. Give me a second, and I'll bring it up here. I believe this is the title for it, too. Deformers.
Oh, God.
So that is the next game from Ready at Dawn.
Okay.
After the evil, horrible reviewers criticized them for the Order 1886, which I can actually say we were a part of because, well, we literally put Romney to sleep.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for a lot of the indie developers coming out there. I want to see more stuff on No Man's Sky. I want to see Songs of the Deep because that's got my interest. There's a lot of really good indie ones, but I'm trying to think of like first party or second party developers for Sony that are going to have something there.
I don't think I'm too worried about that because, unlike Nintendo, they have good relationships with third-party publishers, company developers. So they don't really need to worry about...
What are you trying to say, Aldo? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying Nintendo needs to create a console that other people can actually work on without having to throw it up against the wall because it's running on fucking DOS.
So, with that, let's go ahead and move on into the one that I don't want to talk about, but I know a lot of people will be mad if we don't talk about it because we talk about it every week, and that is Nintendo. So there will be the way I've understood it, a brief Nintendo Direct that will be Zelda-focused, but most of their stuff will be on the Treehouse, and that's where you're going to see a lot of the other games that are coming out for Nintendo this year. So I know Metroid Prime Federation Force is going to be on their show floor, but I mean we've made our opinions fairly clear on this concept that having it completely Zelda-focused it twists the knife because we're not going to get it till next year, and on top of that, it's just like having no other focus towards any other games is asinine. It's pointless as far as I am concerned. At least that's my kind of viewpoint. I'm glad that Game Freak actually stepped out and said, no, you have to at least talk about Pokemon to some extent because, that's something that we're trying to get out. But that's it. I have also heard talk of Mario Galaxy 3. Which is a typical Nintendo answer to basically say, oh, you want something at least until next year? Slap a Mario title on it. And I don't know if that would save it.
I don't think it'll be a Galaxy game. I think the Galaxy was a Wii generation stuff.
Matt, I think you're muted. We do not hear you.
Yeah, there is no sound.
Yeah. I think if anything, we'll probably get some, maybe more Pokemon Sun Moon news, maybe some Monster Hunter Generations, maybe some Fire Emblem and Persona, maybe.
I'm pretty, and maybe not at E3. I know at some point in these Nintendo conferences, we're supposed to get some Pokemon news because Game Freak has tweeted saying they're going to have news.
Yeah.
So at the very least, we're going to get Pokemon. Sorry, dude, no sound for you.
No. Still no sound.
No! I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I just don't think Nintendo really has anything major to talk about aside from the NX. And, well, it's not going to be there. So at that point, what they're basically going to do is shove Zelda down our throat because that's the only thing that they have that has hype around it. And I don't think that's a good idea at all.
I think it's better than nothing. I mean, As long as it's more than just Miyamoto and Aonuma sitting in front of a screen, I'm honestly happy with just getting
I
anything.
still can't hear you, Matt. Sorry. There's still no sound. No. I love that. This is what the podcast has become. We're trying to get Matt back in here. Matt back in here to talk about E3 stuff that he has no opinion on.
Matt, why don't you just close the window and then rejoin us?
Yeah, rejoin the hangout and see if that helps, and see if maybe that'll fix the problem. I've had that happen a couple of times.
I'm not sure if he can hear us. I think it's kind of what his lip movements are saying.
I can hear.
There we go.
There we go.
There
I
you
know
go.
what happened. I
Pulse.
found that the audio was turned off in the settings. I just checked there just now. It's funny because we're talking about. It's funny. Okay, we're talking about Pokemon. I'm genuinely that guy. Due to what I experienced at a convention, Pokemon has been ruined for me forever. Given how, in my experience, I mostly find the bile ends of most fandoms. So like with Pokemon, like to me, I think of Pokemon as the last the original Five Nights at Freddy's. But I think it's more like Mario, given how I think about it. How it's either so much the same, but trying to do like a small thing differently.
I don't know why you get into the fandoms. I just ignore the fandoms.
I don't get in the fandoms. The fandoms just exist. I can't function. Like for me, I'm an artist online. So far too often, the biggest demand from people when it comes to just like having an internet presence is the fan art stuff. People don't care unless you have fan. Which kills me because you're either a very popular artist who does the fan art stuff, or you're a professional artist who's working for Disney. Like, get the middle ground. So it's like with fandoms, they're just there, gnawing at my feet.
Okay. So yeah.
We're not all bad.
They're not all. I mean, in general rule, everyone speaks for themselves. It's just,
I can agree on that one.
I can only say this right now also. I don't care about anything from Nintendo at this point because I still have not gotten a chance to indulge in the one thing I've actually been looking forward to from Nintendo in a while, and that was a Star Fox game. I think I tweeted at Miyamoto just haphazardly for fun on Twitter, just saying, I will buy a Wii U if you A, release a new Star Fox game, or B, go on absolute random bet to add the Zelda CDI characters to Hyrule Warriors.
They did release a Star Fox game.
Yeah, Star Fox Zero.
Star Fox Zero.
I still haven't played it. I don't have a Wii U.
You said you would buy a Wii U for Star Fox Zero.
So go buy
I
it.
think all those only
Buy your Wii U so you can play Star Fox Zero.
God, I don't have a PS3, a PS4 yet. Jeez. Is it on PC?
Now you have to go get a Wii U because Miyamoto has delivered. He has given you Star Fox Zero. I don't know if you'll like it, but
I could genuinely like it. Little, furries finally were flying around in spaceships. I'm all in for that stuff.
It's more of the gameplay that you'll probably have some issues with.
Yeah, to this day, I still get messages saying I didn't give Star Fox Zero.
It's sad because I have seen people's complaints about Star Fox, but I'm watching somebody else playing the game, and they're actually they actually sat down to talk about how the gameplay works. Because I was told the idea that you're supposed to aim the pad to shoot, but actually no. As somebody actually showed me, you can still maneuver the ship. It's just the pad lets you control the aiming a lot more drastically. You can shoot to the side now. You can control the ship and control the aim. So it's not like when you're playing the original Star Fox game, you're often having to steer yourself into trouble just to shoot the little alien ships.
And I would have a problem with that if it allowed me an off button. Because at that point, I have a love-hate relationship with that gameplay scheme. I really do. I both love and hate it for various reasons, and it just bugs the living crap out of me.
I mean, generally,
I don't get an off button for the Wii U gamepad.
I try to think a game like that would be much more frustrating to me if I had to do it dual stick.
I don't know if I have a problem with dual stick. It's just the gamepad that I had an issue. So, but again, I still get people saying I didn't give it a fair shot because reasons.
I thought you were actually a lot more kind to it than I thought you were going to be.
Yeah, especially considering the text I sent you. Yeah, because so fun story for people who don't know this. I actually for the heck of it sent a text out after playing for I think it was 3 hours that day, and I sent it over to Alex, and it was bile, it was hatred. I said every nasty thing about Miyamoto's mother that I could possibly say. I said everything. It was bad. I like went, dear Nintendo, I'm done. Here's my Nintendo card. I can't understand why you did a gimmicky control scheme with this. I was pissed. And thankfully, I actually stepped back, and when I did the review, I said, look, here's the bottom line. I have a love-hate relationship with this control scheme. And I'm still getting told that I didn't give it a fair shot. Because, yeah.
I mean, you were mixed on it. I mean, compared to Gerard, the completionist, who loved the game through and through, gave it a...
Well, but Gerard got to go meet Miyamoto. He got to go, like, I'm sorry, I love Gerard, but he's a little biased in this regard. He got sent to Nintendo of America. He got to meet Miyamoto. He was starstruck, and therefore we got nothing but praise.
You know what's the one thing that bugs me with Nintendo still? Do they still do the copyright strikes on people's videos?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In fact...
I was gonna
So
say.
we just barely started. So me and Alex just barely started up a Let's Play of the original Legend of Zelda, and we didn't have this problem with the other Zelda games that we've played. But every video on this one in particular has gotten a copyright strike, and they're scheduled.
Not a
They haven't come out
strike.
yet.
Not a
Which is the one
strike.
that
A content
I'm
ID.
Yeah, content ID claim.
Why are they?
Let's be clear. A strike is the worst thing you can get. Thank
Sorry,
God we have
I
not got
keep using the
strikes
wrong
yet.
word.
Future vision for E3. Nintendo comes out and announces, we're cutting the fuck off with all the copyright strikes. Enjoy our games. Play them for us.
As much as I would like to see that happen, Matt, that's an American affair, and Nintendo doesn't give a crap about anything outside of Japan.
Pretty much.
That's the sad part about it. I love Nintendo, but they can't think outside their own borders.
No, they
No,
can't.
they
It's a sad
cannot.
thing because, honestly, like I'll tell you this right now, Angry Joe is probably the first game critic guy I've ever signed up to watch because I remember me and my friends were like hyped when the Aliens Colonial Marines game was coming out. Like, Aliens, horror, oh my god, it's going to be the best thing ever. And, oh jeez. Oh Lord, and I'm saying no. Oh, saying it.
I feel for you. I really do.
It's like it was from that game that I found Angry Joe, and I said I need to follow these guys. So I started following every credible game critic I could.
Yeah, and then we have the decent game that came out after Colonial. Was it Isolation?
Yeah, it was Isolation.
Yeah.
Still don't have that one, unfortunately. I'm a poor boy.
The one that actually like tried to give horror back, or tried to get horror back into Alien.
It looked like
Yeah.
Amnesia with, like it sounded like an Amnesia game from when I saw people's Let's Plays, but it's kind of a hint of Call of Cthulhu to it, given how I mean you could act with guns, but if anything, the one thing with that game that caught my attention is the AI on that Alien. I don't want to play that game now. But we're back to Nintendo, but yeah, when it comes to people being able, like the few people who are allowed to say, allowed to review these Nintendo games, allowed to play them because they'll say good things about them, it kind of does sour the experience for wanting to play Star Fox, given that note.
Well, my problem is like, because there are legit people who gave honest reviews of Star Fox Zero. There were. But then we had people like Gerard who were brought into the Nintendo of America office, got to sit down with Miyamoto and ask like a couple of legit questions, and then at that point, I'm sorry, I love you, Gerard, but I can't take your review seriously because I know that you got given the star treatment when playing this game.
Well, Gerard's also not really a journalist, so he doesn't really have any integrity to be held up to. He is an entertainer.
I mean, as far as like trying to take his videos worth that kind of context, because I mean, here's the bottom line: Gerard is not necessarily in it for the reviews. He is in it for the completion angle, and so I'm sure he brought a whole unique perspective on it. But there are reviewers that are literally getting. I'm not saying the IGN treatment because the IGN is getting money for it, but I mean you have like reviewers that go in and get just treated like absolute movie stars when they walk in there. And how can you not do a review that is positive after getting that experience? I mean, I would literally I pay for the games. I don't ask for the review copies because what the crap is wrong with me? But at the same time, I also want to have some level of objectivity. And so at that point, if I have to pay for the game, then I actually have to answer, was this actually worth my $60? And to that, people just, I love it. I get such mixed reviews. Like, people are happy to some extent about Star Fox Zero review, and then some are not. Same thing with Battleborn. I was too hard with Gearbox, and I was just fine with Gearbox. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just ranting at this point.
It's hard to take Nintendo. Like I said, now I'm actually with you guys on that wave now. It's hard to take Nintendo seriously if they don't really have real critics. Like, they don't let real critics say what they need to. Apparently, like with Star Fox, like the only few reviews I know of Star Fox, Zero happening, is Gerard's review and the 2 reviews. One from Yahtzee Khrushchev, like you forget his name of his show. It's Zero Punctuation and Jimquisition, where they absolutely railed on it.
Yeah, they did. And
what they had was that Yahtzee didn't have his stuff copyright claimed because he uses his cool little cutout characters doing all the displaying. And for Jim, he finally figured out how to beat the copyright system by creating a copyright deadlock. So it's like, here's these 2 geniuses who are able to tell everybody this ain't worth it. It's sad because in my mind, I'm still thinking, I want a Star Fox game. Like, I genuinely love the idea when I was a kid. I freaking love. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just Star Fox. I thought the idea was novel.
And here's the thing, like, I still think that as far as story is concerned, Zero is great. I mean, it's a retelling of the first story, so it's nothing you've seen that isn't new, but it still is interesting in that regard. So at that point, I would recommend that you play it. It's the gameplay that I had such a love-hate relationship with that I couldn't, not necessarily take it seriously, but I had such a problem getting through it and liking it in the process. Because I even mentioned it in the review, I kept on thinking back to Star Fox 64 and how awesome that was and how much I'd recommend that to people, not this one.
I still have my copy of Star Fox 64.
Yeah, or recommend that they go out and get the 3DS so that they could play 64 or 3D,
My brain made a horrible joke saying that the next Star Fox game is actually going to be the original unfinished Rareware's Dinosaur Planet. Like, let's do, like, we're going to do it again, we're going to do it better? All right, let's try to introduce Crystal with character this time.
So with that, that's pretty much our E3 assessment. We'll see if anything actually happens. I hope to be surprised by these companies, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a fairly light year, especially since a lot of the bigger titles that we're excited for aren't going to be there. I know that Horizon Zero Dawn has got a trailer, but it's like they don't have a demo there, and a couple of others. So I'm hoping that we get some good surprises there, including some new IPs, because I always like hearing about new IPs, whether it be indie, whether it be AAA, because new things, and this is going to sound horrible, but fresh meat is always a good thing, especially in gaming where we're oversaturated with series that have tons of additions to them. So at that point, I think we actually just need to wrap things up because we're almost out of time.
Sorry.
That's cool. So at that point, we will be back next week to give our opinions on the conferences as they happened, and to say the games that we are excited for, the games we're not excited for, the things that we thought were absolutely stupid. Will that guy who had the Majora's Mask moon on his face come out for the Sony conference like he probably did for the Square Enix conference? We don't know. Will the Hoop God come back to the EA conference? We don't know. Will they have Garden Warfare segments that have Danger Zone in them come back? We don't know.
Will Nintendo Muppets reappear? We don't know.
Oh my god.
I kind of hope they do.
Those Muppets got me, man.
Yep. So in that case, let's go ahead and wrap things up for the night. So if people have questions, concerns, comments that they want to leave to us, let's go ahead and start up with Aldo. If people want to get a hold of you, Aldo, how do they do that?
You can find me on Twitter at BoardThrush. You can also find me on YouTube at BoardOffline. That's it.
He's just so relaxed at this point. So at that point, and then also if you want to send all your spreadsheet requests, please just send them to Aldo. Please stop sending them to me.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Have you actually created it?
All year, every year, friend.
There you go. There's the spreadsheet, people.
There it is.
People can be so happy.
Whoop,
it's here. this has become a staple for us, Matt, is that he comes with a full-on spreadsheet where I might have notes, where Romney might have notes. He comes with a full-on spreadsheet on his tablet of what he thought about everything that was shown.
And
So
I'm the in the moment guy. I can't
Yeah,
write. I can't write shit down.
Yeah, so am I.
So, Matt, if you are actually brand new to the podcast, if people want to get a hold of you and see the work that you do, because you're actually you're an artist online. You have some work on YouTube, but most of your stuff is through Tumblr and one other site that is escaping me at the moment.
As of late, I've actually had difficulty with my Tumblr because I don't have a phone, and so I gotta end up getting signed out because of deleting cookies and stuff. So I don't have access to my Tumblr, so I don't have too much work on there as of late.
Okay.
But yeah, I do have a Tumblr I've tried to use. I rarely use it nowadays, just given how every time I go on there's always some person taking some post or some comment of mine out of context and trying to spread an SJW fire over there. It's like, okay, here's
So
this.
basically, Tumblr being Tumblr.
It's Tumblr being Tumblr, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, no, I can understand you on that one.
Otherwise, I think my most active and proudly active place is probably right now is my Twitter.
Okay.
I have a Facebook page. I'm still trying to get around to getting used to working. I officially have a new WordPress page. I've been starting that up lately.
So feel free to advertise those if you would like, because I don't have them. We'll probably post them in the description.
I was gonna say I'm redneck.wordpress.com. That's WRETNECK. I am at Redneck on Twitter. Also, you can search RecNet, a lovely nickname I got from a good friend.
All right. So at that point, if you guys want to get a hold of Matt on that one and also see the work that he does, because I've seen his work and it is awesome. And in fact, we may have some cool things we're working out with Matt right now, aside from bringing him on to Ratchet and Clank reviews that you guys can look forward to as well.
There's gonna be more Ratchet and Clanks.
What was that?
There's gonna be more Ratchet and Clank reviews.
There might be. I think there was a sequel announced.
For the movie?
Well, there was an Easter egg at the end.
True.
Pretty doubtful.
Sorry, I thought you were saying that almost. I thought you were being sarcastic there. I was like, wait, are we being serious with that?
No, I'm just saying,
Like,
we're
gonna bring him in every time there's a Ratchet and Clank. It's like you open up the closet, there's me. Hey.
Hi. Yeah, now we're gonna have to make a joke out of that. That's the thing. So with that, Shadow Blazer, Alex the Shadow Blazer, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Two places to really find me frequently. You can
Aside
find
from
me
In the Shadows.
Besides In the Shadows, obviously. On YouTube, Shadow Blazer 3000 is my channel where I do anime content most of the time, a little gaming content on the side as well. And of course, follow me on social media. You can find me at Twitter, at AlexJShort is my handle.
All right, and Stephen Romney of Romney's Reviews. How do they get a hold of you if they have some meaningful information that they wish to convey to you? Like, for example, if they actually liked Out of the Shadows and disagreed with your review on it.
Well, I'd be more worried about people who would disagree with my reviews on Warcraft, but anyway, you can always find me here on YouTube at youtube.com/StudioGhostUtah. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Romney'sReviews, and I am also on Twitter at RomneyReviews. And as for this week's recommendation for Romney's Reading Club, I'm recommending Buddha by Osamu Tezuka. It's definitely one of the more spiritual sort of stories that Tezuka has written, but I've read the first volume, and the story itself is pretty self-contained, and I enjoyed it, even though it ends on a pretty sad note. So that's my recommendation for Romney's Reading Club is Buddha by Osamu Tezuka.
I wished you hadn't brought up the Warcraft review, because I've already got listeners that are wondering if you and me are going to engage in a full-on YouTube war over this will be legit Romney's war against Drac, because apparently I'm a Warcraft fanboy and therefore biased and am not allowed to hate this movie. And I'm not saying I hate it. I haven't seen it yet. I'll see how I feel about it when I see it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I can't say bad things about Warcraft. After all, I had the Nostalrius video.
Yep, and if it does turn into a full-on war, the only way we can really settle it would be in a round of Warcraft. For the record, I mean the RTS, not the MMO.
Are we gonna play classic Dota? Is that what we're gonna do?
No, it's like it would be like the full real-time strategy versions of Warcraft that basically built up the franchise that existed before the MMO, because most people think it started with the MMO, but it did not.
No. But in fact, I actually am going to amend that for you because we've already also had requests that you and I should be playing a card game to the death. So let's just merge them together, and we'll meet on the battleground of Hearthstone.
Okay.
All right. So with that, if people want to get a hold of me, because yes, you're going to want to, and send good things and bad things, and mostly bad things. There are two ways to be able to get a hold of me, and one is my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Drac2326. That's where all of my content is hosted. Holy crap, I have so much stuff happening this summer, including specific Let's Plays of Gaming with the Geeks with all of these yahoos minus Matt. Maybe we'll work Matt in next year. I don't know. Because I have no energy at this point. So already you guys can see the videos.
Any further?
What was that?
So not enough energy to put up with my shit any further. One Matt time was bad enough.
Oh, who knows? You could join us on a Let's Play and have a bad time with me. So that's the way it could go. So yeah, you guys can check out all of the content that we have. Currently we have the Let's Play with me and Brinton. We're actually getting ready to wrap that one up, Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. And also we have just barely started up the Let's Play with Alex. So you guys can look forward to that, as well as all the WoW content that I'm providing this summer, and all of the other content that I provide on a weekly basis, because I love you guys. You can also follow me on Twitter at Drac2326 and leave your opinions there. I don't follow the Twitter as much as I would like to. In fact, people were asking, am I going to be on Twitter for E3 coverage? I'm actually not going to be, because one thing has changed from last year, and that is baby. You can't really pay attention to a Twitter feed with a baby. You can't do it. I've tried. It doesn't work. So instead, I'm actually going to just be doing review vlogs on the conferences so you guys can see my opinions on it. That's a little bit easier to do. If you guys want to get a hold of the show directly, there are 4 ways to do it. The first 2 are social media. You can look up at GeekyNRO, which is our Twitter, and you can see when we're going live. You can see the stories that we're talking about, etc., etc. You can also look up Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions on Facebook and like it, and you'll get up-to-the-minute information when we're going live or the specific events that we might have going on, like E3 coverage, or like we're not going to get together because of Gaming with the Geeks, because that happens. The 2 other ways to be able to keep track or to get a hold of us is first the email. If you guys want to leave stories for us or suggest stories or topics that you would like us to discuss, you can go to geekyweek@gmail.com and leave your feedback and suggestions there. In fact, all of the Q&As that are going to be happening for all of these Let's Play videos, leave your questions there. They are that's easily the best way to keep them all together. And also, I'm encouraging not only subscribers from my channel and listeners to Geek News, but also to all of these guys' content and their subscribers, leave your questions, because this is going to be a great way to be able to ask them. And then finally, you can go to geekyweek.podomatic.com. That is where our RSS feed is for all of our podcast episodes. I try to keep that up to date as much as I can, but as people can already see with the summer schedule, I'm having some issues. We'll get back to speed, I promise. But you can also subscribe to iTunes there and get the RSS feed from iTunes. And that's pretty much it. Did I cover everything? I think I did. Yay! But that's going to go ahead and do it for us this week. So I can already tell you next week is going to be E3 coverage. Be prepared for that. Still leave your stories. We'll probably move them over to the following week. And also, leave a comment below. If you liked having Matt on here and you want to see more of him, leave a comment below and let us know so that we can bring him on for more events, because obviously that works so well for Brinton. Right?
Yeah. Oh.
So, but that's going to go ahead and do it for us this evening. So we hope you guys have enjoyed. We continue to love your contributions and your love that you show to us. But let's go ahead and wrap things up. For me, for Aldo, for Matt, for Alex, and for Romney, we'll see you guys next week for even more Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions. You're looking in a door.